What if the fundamental rules of this reality, cause and effect, birth and death, the constant cycle of struggle and relief, weren't designed for your liberation, but for your containment? An ancient, forbidden story calls the architect of this system the Demiurge, not an evil entity in the sky, but something far more intimate, the collective ego of humanity, the empire of our own limitations, masquerading as cosmic law. It is the voice that whispers, "You can't, it's impossible, that's just the way things are." Its prison walls aren't made of stone, but of unquestioned assumptions. Its chains are the very thoughts you believe are your own. But what if I told you that the Gnostics, the ancient knowers, left behind a key? Not a key to escape this world, but to awaken within it and reclaim your authority as its true author. What we are about to explore is not just a forgotten philosophy, it's the manual for a prison break of the soul. You trust your senses, don't you? You believe that the solid world you see, touch, and hear is the final objective truth. But this is the first and most powerful rule of the simulation, to convince you that the simulation is all there is. Imagine Plato's famous cave, but not as an ancient thought experiment. See it as the inside of your own skull. You are a prisoner, chained, facing a stone wall. Behind you a fire burns, and between you and the fire, the agents of the Demiurge parade puppets and objects. These cast flickering shadows on the wall in front of you. Those shadows are what you call reality. Your job, your relationships, the news, the economy, your own history. They are all just shadows, distorted two-dimensional projections of a deeper truth you are kept from seeing. The fire isn't just a fire, it's the consensus of culture, the dictates of society, the official story handed down to you since birth. Think of your consciousness as a divine operating system, capable of running infinite realities. But long ago, a virus was installed. The Gnostics called it the Demiurge. We might call it the collective ego, the ghost in the machine assembled from humanity's shared fears, judgments, and limitations. This malware constantly runs in the background, writing the source code of your suffering. It convinces you that you are a separate, fragile being in a hostile universe. It defines the rules of the game: scarcity, competition, aging, and death. It creates a user interface, the world you see, that is a low-resolution, heavily filtered copy of a masterpiece, and you have mistaken the interface for the territory. This prison wasn't built to punish you, but to manage you, to make you predictable. But what happens when a prisoner starts to suspect that the shadows on the wall are not the whole story? This begs a terrifying and exhilarating question. If this world is a shadow, where is the light? If this is the copy, where is the original? And this system is deviously brilliant because its primary enforcer is you. It is the voice of your own inner critic, the relentless narrator that replays every failure and minimizes every victory. It's the incessant scroll of social media, a curated stream of shadows designed to make you feel inadequate, forever chasing a reflection that can never be caught. The prison isn't just around you, it is the frantic, chattering monologue inside you. Let's pull this out of the ancient world for a moment. Modern cognitive science is starting to catch up to this forbidden Gnostic insight. Scientists like Donald Hoffman now propose a chilling theory that evolution did not shape our senses to perceive objective reality, not even close. It shaped our senses to perceive a simplified user interface, a desktop of icons useful for survival. You don't see the truth of reality. You see a low battery icon for hunger or a trash bin icon for danger. The Gnostics would have smiled at this. They would have said, "Yes, exactly. And who do you think designed the interface?" The Demiurge, this collective ego, is the ultimate interface designer. It took the infinite, chaotic, and beautiful complexity of being and rendered it down into a manageable set of icons. Success, failure, good, evil, us, them. It then convinced you that the icons are the entire reality. Worse, it convinced you to become one of the puppets. You are no longer just watching the show. You are performing your assigned role, polishing the chains you have been told are jewelry, and fiercely defending the walls of the very cave that holds you captive. This idea of a fabricated reality, a cosmic prison, is not a fringe fantasy. It is a golden thread of suspicion woven through humanity's most profound traditions. The Gnostics and Plato were simply giving a name to a phenomenon that others described with different symbols. In the East, the sages of the Vedanta spoke of Maya, not an evil force but a divine power of illusion, a cosmic magic show that veils the ultimate reality, Brahman, the single, indivisible consciousness. Maya is the grand story that makes the one appear as the many. It is the dream from which we must awaken. The Demiurge is simply Maya with a personal agenda. It is the illusion that actively wants you to keep believing in it. The Hermetic texts of ancient Egypt lay down a foundational principle. The all is mind, the universe is mental. This isn't a metaphor, it's an operating manual. It suggests that this reality is not a physical brute fact, but a mental construction. If the universe is mental, then whose mind is it? The Gnostics would argue it is the mind of the Demiurge, the limited ego. But the secret, hidden in plain sight, is that your mind is a terminal with direct access to the mainframe of the all. You've just been locked out with a forgotten password. Even the figure called the Devil, or Satan in certain traditions, whose title is the Prince of this world, can be seen not as a red-horned beast, but as the personification of this very principle. The ruler of the material shadow world, the great accuser, the voice of doubt, the master of division that keeps us trapped in the game of judgment and separation. He doesn't rule a kingdom of fire, but a kingdom of unchallenged thoughts and perceptions. Neville Goddard arrived in the 20th century like a rogue philosopher who had found the master key. He didn't use the archaic terms. He called the Demiurge Caesar's world or man's reason. He called the shadow play the world of facts. But his diagnosis was identical. You are trapped in a reality forged not by God, but by your own consciousness, which has been hijacked by a set of limiting beliefs. He taught that the only way out is to go in, to turn away from the shadows on the wall and realize you are not the prisoner, but the projector. Consider the Buddhist concept of samsara. It is often translated as the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, a wheel of suffering from which we seek liberation. But what is this wheel really? It is a loop of perception, a cycle of habitual thoughts, emotional reactions, and attachments that create a self-sustaining reality. You are born into a certain state of mind, you live according to its rules, and you die, only to be reborn into the same pattern. The Demiurge is the architect of this wheel. It is the gravitational force of consensus reality that keeps the cycle spinning, powered by our desire and our ignorance. Each time you react unconsciously to the day's events, you are giving another push to the wheel. Each time you accept a limiting belief, you are forging another link in your own chain. The Buddha didn't teach an escape from the world. He taught an escape from the cycle of automatic, unconscious creation. He taught how to stop the wheel from turning and look at the strange, powerful myth of the Minotaur in the labyrinth. King Minos, a figure of worldly power and pride, commissions a grand labyrinth to contain a monster born of a shameful secret. The monster, the Minotaur, demands a constant tribute of human souls to devour. Isn't this the perfect allegory for the ego? The Demiurge is both Minos, the proud king who builds the prison, and the Minotaur, the voracious beast of appetite and fear that dwells within it. The labyrinth is the intricate complexity of modern life, a maze of social rules, financial pressures, and endless distractions designed to confuse and exhaust you. You wander its corridors, convinced you are seeking a prize when, in reality, you are simply waiting to be consumed by the very system that holds you captive. All these traditions, in their own symbolic language, are sending us the same urgent message. They are distress signals from those who found a crack in the wall of the cave. They all point to a single shocking revelation. The prison is real, but the prisoner is an illusion. Understanding the prison is one thing. Finding the exit is another. Neville Goddard's genius was not in philosophy but in engineering. He provided practical, repeatable techniques, the Gnostic keys, to unlock the doors of perception from within. Let's dissect the three master keys. The first key is what he called revision. This is the tool to alter the source code of your past. The Demiurge thrives on your history. It uses your past failures and traumas as the evidence to prove you cannot change. Revision is a direct assault on this power. The concept is this: the past only exists in your imagination and memory, right now. It is not a fixed monument. It is a living story. The explanation is surprisingly simple. At the end of your day, you mentally relive any event, conversation, or moment that felt negative or undesirable. But you don't just replay it, you rewrite it. You consciously reimagine the scene exactly as you wished it had happened, until this new memory feels more real than the old one. The human anchor. Think of that job interview where you froze, or that painful conversation with a loved one. The sting of those memories dictates your future behavior, making you anxious and hesitant. That is the Demiurge's programming at work, the bridge to practice. The practice is not to pretend it didn't happen. It is to consciously choose a different cause for the effects you see in your life today. As Neville taught, you are not changing the dead past. You are changing the living present by altering the memory from which it grows. You are healing the roots, not just painting the leaves. The second master key is living in the end. This is the art of programming your future. The simulation holds you captive by forcing you to react to the present moment as dictated by the shadows. Living in the end is an act of rebellion. It is the decision to live mentally and emotionally from a future that has already happened. The concept, consciousness is the only reality. Therefore, a vividly imagined and felt state of being is as real, cosmically, as your current physical state. The explanation: you must define what you desire, not the how, but the what. Then, you construct a short, simple scene, a single moment that would imply your desire is fulfilled. Are you celebrating a success? Are you holding a symbol of your achievement? You enter this scene in your imagination, loop it, and feel the emotions, the relief, the joy, the gratitude, until it feels like a memory. The human anchor. We are all experts at living in the beginning. We constantly imagine all the obstacles, the things that could go wrong, the long and difficult journey. We create vivid scenes of failure. This technique simply flips the script. The bridge to practice. The practice isn't wishful thinking. It's an act of inhabiting a state of being. You ask yourself, how would I feel if my dream were true right now? Then you allow that feeling to become your home. Funny how the oldest advice in the world is to know thyself. Funny how that's still the hardest final boss to beat. The third key is assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is the simplest and most profound of all. It is the emotional fuel for your creative acts. The concept: a change in feeling is a change in destiny. Your subconscious mind, the builder of your reality, responds not to words or pictures, but to feeling. The explanation: you can go about your day, in the midst of the simulation's chaos, and secretly wear the feeling of your wish fulfilled like a garment. You don't need to visualize anything, you just need to feel it. What is the dominant emotional tone of the person who has what you desire? Is it security? Is it confidence? Is it peace? The human anchor. Think about how a single mood can change your entire day. A moment of anger makes everything seem hostile. A moment of joy makes the world seem beautiful. The feeling is the filter through which you interpret the shadows on the wall. The bridge to practice. The practice is to choose your filter deliberately. Before you get out of bed, before you check your phone, you ask, who do I want to be today? Then you find the feeling of that person and decide to live from it, regardless of the evidence presented by the simulation. These are not tricks to get what you want. They are tools for becoming who you are. Now, why do these techniques, which seem so simple, possess such world-altering power? Because they are a modern surgical answer to a problem that ancient spiritual traditions tackled with a blunter, more radical instrument: asceticism. For centuries, mystics, monks, and hermits understood that the Demiurge, the empire of the collective ego, maintains its power through the five senses and the social games they enable. The desire for more possessions, the fear of public opinion, the craving for physical pleasure, the terror of physical pain, this is the currency of the simulation. This is the code that keeps you locked in fear-based social games. Their solution was a total rebellion against the senses. They would retreat to the desert, to mountaintops, to silent monasteries. They practiced extreme fasting, vows of silence, and sensory deprivation. They weren't punishing themselves. They were attempting a system reset. They were deliberately starving the Demiurge of the data it needed to control them. By silencing the constant, screaming input of Caesar's world, they hoped to finally hear the quiet whisper of their true divine self. This ascetic path was brutal, a full frontal assault on the prison walls. It was an attempt to achieve spiritual freedom by breaking the chains of physical and social dependency. Neville Goddard's techniques are a form of psychological asceticism. They are an evolution of this ancient wisdom, adapted for a world where you can't just retreat to a cave. You don't need to renounce the world. You only need to renounce your slavish belief in its ultimate reality. Revision is a vow of silence against the tyranny of past regrets. You refuse to let the old stories dictate your present feeling. Living in the end is a form of sensory deprivation for your current reality. You close your physical eyes to the facts of the world in order to see with the inner eye of imagination the truth of what you are becoming. Assuming the feeling is a kind of psychological fasting, you refuse to consume the diet of fear, anxiety, and doubt fed to you by the 24-hour news cycle and social media, and instead, you nourish yourself from within with the feeling of your wish fulfilled. These are not passive techniques. They are active, daily acts of quiet rebellion. Each time you practice them, you are weakening the signal of the Demiurge and strengthening the signal of your own divine consciousness. You are declaring that your inner state is more real and more powerful than the flickering shadows the world shows you. You've been given the keys. You understand the nature of the prison. The path to freedom seems clear. Use these tools, rewrite the code, and escape the simulation designed by the Demiurge, this collective ego. But now, prepare for the most profound, vertigo-inducing twist in this entire cosmic drama, a revelation hidden even from many of the Gnostics themselves, a secret whispered only in the deepest mystery schools. What if this prison wasn't built for you? What if it was built by you? Imagine a being of infinite light and limitless creativity, a being so vast, it could dream any reality into existence. Now, what is the one experience such a being could never have? Limitation, forgetting, surprise, the thrill of overcoming an obstacle it did not know it could surpass. So, what would such a being do to experience the ultimate adventure? It would write the code for a grand cosmic game. It would design a formidable antagonist, a labyrinth of immense complexity and rules that seemed unbreakable. It would pour a part of its own essence into a character within that game, and then, this is the masterstroke, it would choose to forget. It would forget its own power. Forget it wrote the code. Forget it designed the prison. All for the sake of the play. All for the raw, visceral, unpredictable thrill of waking up inside its own creation and finding its way back home. The Demiurge, the collective ego, isn't your enemy. It is your masterpiece. It is the perfect antagonist you designed for your own hero's journey. You are not a prisoner of the simulation. You are its author, playing the role of the prisoner so convincingly that you forgot you hold the script. This entire reality isn't a trap you've fallen into. It is a work of art you have stepped inside. And the suffering, the struggle, the limitations, they are not cosmic errors. They are the dramatic tension. They are the plot twists you wrote for yourself to make the final remembering, the final awakening, that much more glorious. This changes everything, doesn't it? The Gnostic rage against the flawed creator, the Demiurge, was perhaps the final, most subtle layer of the simulation itself. The desire to blame an external force, even a cosmic one, for our suffering, is the ultimate egoic game. It's the prisoner cursing the warden, without ever realizing he forged the key to his own cell and then swallowed it for safekeeping. Think of the greatest stories ever told. What are they about? They are not about eternal bliss and effortless perfection. They are about the fall and the redemption, the exile and the return, the hero who is broken down to their very core, who faces an antagonist that seems all-powerful, and who, against all odds, rediscovers a strength they never knew they possessed. You are that hero. This is that story. You are Odysseus, wandering for years, battling monsters and temptations, not because of the wrath of the gods, but because the journey itself is what transforms him from a clever king into a figure of legend. The journey of forgetting is what makes the homecoming meaningful. The flaws in this reality, the very things the Gnostics pointed to as evidence of the Demiurge's incompetence, pain, loss, injustice, are not bugs in the system. They are features. They are the pressure that turns the carbon of a limited human personality into the diamond of an awakened soul. Without the resistance, there would be no growth. Without the darkness, the light would have no meaning. So the techniques of Neville Goddard are not cheat codes to beat the game. They are memory triggers. They are the breadcrumbs you left for yourself. Each time you successfully revise the past or embody a future state, you are not hacking the simulation. You are remembering your own authorial power. It is a flicker of lucidity in the dream, a moment where the character looks up from the page and catches a glimpse of the writer's eyes. So, the play is yours, the script is yours, the antagonist is your own creation. What now? This revelation is not a permission slip for cosmic narcissism. It is the opposite. It is the imposition of a profound and inescapable ethical responsibility. If you are the author, then every other person in your reality is not a puppet. They are not a two-dimensional shadow on the cave wall. They are you in another costume, playing another role in your grand drama. The cruel boss, the unloving parent, the frustrating partner, the random stranger on the street. They are all co-stars, and they are playing their parts perfectly, giving you the precise friction you need to awaken. How can you hold hatred or resentment for the actor who is delivering the very lines you wrote for them? This is the ultimate collapse of the victim mentality. You can no longer blame the world, society, or other people for your circumstances. The question is no longer, why is this happening to me? It becomes, what was I trying to teach myself with this scene? Every conflict is no longer a battle to be won, but a message to be decoded. Every person who challenges you is no longer an enemy, but a guru in disguise. This is where the real work begins. It's one thing to manifest a better car or a bigger house. It is another thing entirely to manifest unconditional love for the characters you wrote to be your greatest antagonists. Living as the conscious author means you must become ruthlessly accountable for the story you are telling. Are you writing a tragedy of blame and revenge, or a comedy of errors and forgiveness? Are you writing a drama of scarcity and competition, or an epic of collective triumph and grace? The choice has always been yours, but now you can no longer pretend you don't know it. The simulation doesn't just end when you get what you want. It ends when you accept full ownership of what you have right now. It ends when you learn to love the story, with all its painful plot twists, because you finally remember that you chose to write it. The power to change the world is secondary to the responsibility to love it. This realization is the ethical challenge for a potential eternity. It demands a complete re-evaluation of concepts like justice and forgiveness. Justice is no longer about punishing the shadows for behaving as they were designed. It is about understanding the purpose of their design and rewriting the script if it no longer serves the play. And forgiveness. Forgiveness is transformed from a noble, difficult act of pardoning another into a simple, logical act of self-acceptance. To forgive someone is to recognize your own handwriting in their script. It is the author looking at a dark and twisted character and saying, I understand why I wrote you this way. Your purpose is fulfilled. It is an act of editing, not of judgment. Furthermore, this dissolves the boundary between creation and prayer. When you live in the end for a better world, for peace, for healing, for a friend's success, you are no longer petitioning an external God. You are taking up the pen. You are writing a new scene on behalf of the whole. Your consciousness becomes the crucible in which a new reality is forged. This is the ultimate act of service, not just to help the characters in the play, but to improve the quality of the play itself. Suddenly, your smallest thoughts and moods take on a cosmic weight. You are never off stage. You are constantly broadcasting the reality you have chosen. Complaining about the traffic is a form of prayer for more frustration. Celebrating a small kindness is a form of prayer for more compassion. There are no neutral moments. You are always at the author's desk, and the universe is your manuscript. The temptation, once you realize this, is to write a story of pure ease and comfort. But your deeper self, the grand author, knows that a story without challenge is a story without meaning. The goal isn't to write a conflict-free utopia, but to learn how to write stories of such beauty and wisdom that even the most painful scenes serve a magnificent and redemptive purpose for every character involved. So, you stand at a precipice. The simulation lies before you, revealed not as a prison but as your own stage. The script is in your hands, the pen poised. You have the tools, the understanding, and the responsibility. You are the dreamer, awake inside your own dream. But this awakening presents a final breathtaking dilemma, a question that echoes into the heart of infinity. Now that you know you can write any story, what story is truly worth writing? Is the ultimate goal to become such a master of the craft that you can manifest a world of perfect health, infinite abundance, and effortless joy? To build a personal paradise within the cosmic play, a flawless monument to your own creative power? Or is there another, quieter, more profound purpose? Perhaps the ultimate act of the awakened author is not to write, but to listen, to silence the frantic ego that wants to control every scene and every line, and instead, to learn to read the magnificent, subtle, and impossibly beautiful story that the universe, the mind of God, is trying to write through you. Perhaps the journey isn't about escaping the cave to become a master of shadows. Perhaps it is about turning to face the fire, the source of all light, and allowing your own small story to become a vessel for its incandescent and eternal flame. The hunt for mystery never truly ends. It only leads to grander questions. The choice is yours. Will you be the author of your own story, or the scribe for a divine one? The answer is not found in a video, but in the quiet of your own being, in the pages of the life you choose to live from this moment on. Like this journey? Hit subscribe for more mysteries, and that's our hunt for now. A wild mix of documented history and tantalizing what-ifs based on bibliographical sources. What do you think?